him last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant!
Judgment, Austin.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Austin.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you tonight. Thank you for being here on this Sunday night, almost into Monday. Good to see you, Seclusion Works. So nice to see you. Seclusion's excited about the show. I also saw Chuchi and Andrea, also Cece, good to see you. Kelly Holcomb and Ann Reynolds, so good to see you guys. Brenda Calvert and Kiki is here. We also have Andrea, good to see you. And Chuchi says, look out, SF. We have a fellow creator who is in the process of getting her PI, and I'm not that far behind. Yes, I heard about it earlier today, which I was super excited about that. Hey, Lori, thank you for hitting the like button. And thank you guys for being here, hitting the like button. And even everybody in the bushes, thank you for being here. And if you hype one of my videos up, I greatly appreciate it. It's fantastic when people hype the videos because I think it helps us boost the video somehow. I really don't know exactly what it does, but it's a good thing. So thank you for doing that. And Kiki, good to see you. Also, Panda Bear's mom, good to see you. I know Panda Bear's mom. It's a bad deal with Devlin. Devlin Tate's still missing, guys. Pulling in research lately and kind of looking things over, trying to figure out what's what in that case. And it's a lot like the Sebastian Rogers case, a lot like Sebastian Rogers case. We see a lot of similarities in these cases, even Jaden Spicer, his mother also said about the 9 o'clock bedtime and then poof overnight. Same thing with Brittany Gosney. So, we absolutely see these things, and um, there's absolute patterns that are present in these cases, and that kind of connect them that way. Hey, Detroit Rock City, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Town Chat Cafe, so good to have you. Also, Ann Reynolds, thank you for being here. Did I say hi to you, Ann? I think I did. I think I did earlier. You get a double hi tonight. Andrea says we have another missing child in Canada. Been a week. They are autistic. Wandered away. Oh no, starting to sound suspicious. Darius McDougal. Okay, Darius McDougal. Thank you. Read up on it. 5% chance he's alive, according to the RCMP. Yeah, it gets less and less as the days go by, right? Um, I was in such fear for little Claire Bell, and she was found on the side of the road. Her mother Rachel put her out there, and I was so happy when they found her. Hey, Bo, good to see you. Bonjour, Seclusion Works. Good to see you. The strange rush of pure energy. Yeah, that's good. I'm so glad to hear that. And these interviews get me revved up too. I want to do some comparisons on the interviews as we're going along, but I also want to pick out some micro expressions in the ones where we can see their faces. This is one of the interviews, and I found a ton of them today. I didn't have time to put them in the video. I'm also trying to just post these up as we go along in order. That way I can try to make a playlist out of them. And if people want to go back and listen or clip apart, or if there's a piece in the interview, I can go back and grab it from my files, to help out other creators, whatever we need to do to keep the story alive and to keep the narrative as preserved as possible, right? Because these are the words of Chris and Katie Proudfoot. I did not make these words up. And I think it's important to represent what they're saying correctly. Hey, wait, what? Good to see you. I'm doing well, thank you. Just been working on videos. So really want to get these out. Also working on my trip for Pigfest too. So it's just been really, really busy, but I'm doing well, and I hope you are too. Wait, what? Thank you for asking. I appreciate you. And Bo says hi to Lori. Hey, Magic Star. Good to see ya. Let's see. Oh, hey, Sonia. Good to see you. Thank you for hitting the like button. Welcome in. I don't know what it means to hype a video. I was just saying that, Town Chat. You can give the points. I know how to hype it. I just don't know what it does actually. Like if it bumps you up in the algorithm, or if it puts you out to recommends you to more people, then I'm guessing maybe the hype points do that. I haven't read analytics, but we get them tomorrow, so I'll read analytics tomorrow, see what they say. um uh Thank you. Yeah, Cece. I think they just bump it up, right? Like maybe they will share it to more people or they'll boost it. Like, I don't know, maybe they'll boost it so it'll send out to more people. Yeah, like everybody has points. It's something different. Hey, Holly S, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Bless says, Bless, good to see you. Hey, Lolly, great to see you. Thank you for being here. And I hope I'm not missing anybody here. Okay, I think I got through all you guys. And again, thank you for being here, guys. This is really interesting. And I know this interview, many people have seen this interview, right? This is probably one of the more popular ones. If I could take a guess on the more popular interviews, some of the other ones are going to be a little more obscure. Also, if they were taken down, then it's going to be a little bit different as well. And so, with that being said, like I said, I really want to preserve what was said in the beginning because on Duchess for the Missing, if we can, remember back, and I did do a little previously but I didn't put all of them in that I noticed. But some of the things that I noticed right off the bat, and I just kind of want to remind everybody to look out for on Duchess. It was told that Seth had a wonderful relationship with Chris and Katie. Now that is going to be consistent. One of the things that it is consistent, but then we find out later that it was a lie. So it's very frustrating to say the least. Hey Leslie, keeping it real, and Nisi Marie, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. So I mean, it's going to be a little bit frustrating, but just remembering back like what they said and what was actually really going on. Um, Chris does stick his tongue out, right, when he says that he really wants Sebastian home badly, badly, right? And I even did a slow jam on that where I slowed it down. You can definitely see his tongue coming out. And then I snapped a picture of him doing it, and it's on the screen here. So Chris and Katie, that interview, I think really speaks volumes about why they never came out and spoke publicly after this. It was always with the avatars, right? One thing that I've always respected about Seth is that he will come up on the panel and show himself, right? Which, I mean, I get it. I'm not showing myself right now, but it's just been so busy and I don't have my good fall background. I actually put the tapestry up today, but it's just not finished. So, I mean, there's reasons, right? I get it. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but you would just think there's more, there's more of a connection if I'm looking at you guys. I don't know why or what it is about it, and I do like camming up, but you would think that the parents would want to get the connection across in order for people to be more engaged, to engage folks, so people can sympathize, I guess is the best way what I'm trying to say. And we just didn't see that. So I really want to kind of go back over these two first interviews again, and kind of compare them. But tonight I would just like to watch this play out, right? This interview, and I clipped the Holly Thompson News interview, excuse me, where she's talking about her experience in interviewing the Proudfeets in the beginning. So that's where we're kind of going to start out. Oh yeah, I have it. Okay, so here we go. Let me pop this up for you guys. Okay. Well, there we go. All right.
The TBI is asking for people in this area around Beach High School to please search their property at a minimum of 2 times a day, according to the mother, in the morning and in the evenings, especially in case he has taken shelter somewhere and may be found sleeping. They're hoping that they're going to be able to find him somewhere. This is getting more critical by the days, Guy, because this is 7 days that he has been missing. Of course, they have a command center that is set up here. Please, please, please share this information out. Such a sweet young man, and his parents are very, very worried, and they're likely listening to this live stream right now. They're working closely with the father, the stepfather, and the mom.
Experience the hit original series When Calls the Heart.
What a story!
Sorry, guys.
So, there's not like a situation where, we have parents that are not speaking to each other. They're working very diligently, and they are trying to find the best strategy about coming forward, whether it be to the news or if they make a written plea. Please, if you know anything, come forward and let us know if you have seen Sebastian. And I see Chris in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, Chris. If you see Chris Proudfoot in the chat, that is Sebastian's stepfather. Also did see a post today on WKRN News that stated anyone wishing to help the crews in the search for Sebastian Rogers can do so by donating goods at the command center at Shackle Island Volunteer Fire Department. And that was at this area where I showed you this picture earlier. And according to Sumner County fire buffs, current needs are toilet paper, Clorox wipes, trash bags, and energy drinks. And you can actually find this post on Facebook, and that drop-off address is 3199 Long Hollow Pike, and that's in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So if you guys are local to that area and you can go by and bring the search and rescue teams extra things that they need to have on hand, I know people would be really, really appreciated it.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Eric Craddock from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Chief Deputy here, joined by Ken Weiner, the Director of Sumner County EMA. Wanted to come to the public and give you guys an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe.
So they scaled back the search for Sebastian Rogers on March 4th, 2024, but they were still asking for toilet paper, Clorox wipes, trash bags, and energy drinks, just to switch it over to the investigative side. They were no longer doing ground searches for Sebastian Rogers. What is that? And just look at the items that were requested. Toilet paper, Clorox wipes, trash bags, energy drinks.
We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. We are going to follow up on every lead. We have a planned response if anyone has a sighting of Sebastian. Our patrol deputies will be out. Our investigators will be out. We are still coordinating with law enforcement across the state. We are still consulting with experts. This decision does not come lightly. We have consulted with, and I've deferred to the experts in search and rescue. Every time we've asked, they've said you've done everything you can do. At this time, Director Weiner.
Yeah. So we'll continue to have a command post at the fire station there. We won't man it 24/7, but we will have K9 units in the area. We'll have teams ready to go. The sheriff's office will have deputies on patrol, and if we get any report, we'll respond to that location. We'll send K9 to that location, and search teams, should we get any information So we will continue, and any tips we get, we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with.
I'd like to take a moment and thank all the first responders from across the state of Tennessee that have come out and help us in the search for Sebastian. They've come from as far as Knox County. We've called in the state National Guard to help. The Army National Guard was here to help. If there was a resource we thought we could utilize to help locate Sebastian, we've used it. And we will continue to do so based on the leads that come in. The Sheriff's Office continues to urge families to check your properties, to check your cameras. No detail is too small. If you have a detail that you think is important, please call 615-451-3838.
Tonight, the parents of a missing teen in Sumner County described to us exclusively how they feel on day 8 of their son's disappearance. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marius Pate.
And I'm Lauren Lowry. Sebastian Rogers is 15. He was last seen by his parents on February 25th in Hendersonville. Sebastian has autism, and he's gone without his medication this whole time. And since then, authorities have searched by air, by foot, and on horseback.
Helicopters, drones, and dive teams have also been brought in to try to find him. Today, his parents spoke exclusively to our Holly Thompson.
She's live tonight in Sumner County. Holly, I imagine it was quite an emotional interview.
Certainly was. It is hard for any of us to imagine the emotions that this family is going through right now. But we know one thing is certain. They remain positive. They are holding on to hope that their son Sebastian will return home safely.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at.
Mom Katie broke down several times in our interview, but says her hope is strong that her son Sebastian will be found safe and return home.
He's going to walk through that door, and this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional roller coaster that all started Sunday night, February 25th.
Pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you."
Katie says she went to wake up Sebastian around 6 a.m. Monday for school, and he was gone. Within minutes, Katie says she was on the phone with Chris, who was working out of town, and they quickly called 911.
And he's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means.
Katie and Chris say Sebastian is not on social media. While he loves to play Minecraft, they tell me he does not have any online capabilities. I asked if there was any reason he might want to leave.
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him on any video throughout the community. Thousands of miles logged by law enforcement, canines, helicopters, even dive teams, and no sign of him. Chris and Katie tell me they've been harassed, people pointing fingers at them.
You're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts.
Are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided.
What do you want to say to Sebastian?
Okay, guys, so I just want to pop in right there. He tells Holly Thompson on day 8, when they scaled the search back and turned it into a criminal investigation, that they're cleared, right? Katie and Chris both say that. We'll see it in the interview as well, but I just kind of wanted to point that out really quick. Oh boy.
All agencies across the board, we have anything that they've wanted, we have provided.
What do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
That we love you so much, and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
A lot of times people try to base their journeys off of what other people are doing, but that.
So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through.
And we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna
Always.
come home.
He's going to walk through that door. And this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug him, love him, and
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
So here we are, 8 days now searching for him. Walk us through that Sunday night that he went missing. So walk us through, we've got so many people who really want to know, okay, how did this happen? So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Said good night to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
So in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6 o'clock?
6.
So were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be already in the shower?
I took a
in the living
second.
room?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, "I can't find him." He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
Okay, guys, and I do want to also point out that in Duchess for the Missing at the very end, she tells Katie, just breathe, and you see her doing that in the video, right? I think we called it Lamaze last night. And Lolly, I agree too. They wasted time trying to find what happened to Sebastian by saying he was a runaway. And I agree with that. They didn't, in my opinion, even question Katie properly, to the contrary, like say he didn't just run off or say he was abducted. I saw Blessed put that in earlier about how they didn't even talk about an abduction being a possibility ever. And so it's very odd, right? So they were literally operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off and not even exploring other options. That's a big problem. So, I mean, to say it was mishandled, I think is an understatement, but I couldn't agree more that they wasted time and they took Katie's word for it. Seclusion Work says, in my opinion, Ellie didn't want to look into it in order not to interrupt their laziness. Well, yeah, I mean, because we know at least we know one thing, that Sebastian's not in their office, and they sure do like to sit up there, don't they? Good point. Magic Star says, blessed because that's what KP and CP told them, and obviously they're upstanding people in the community. Right. Yeah. Well, so much so that they don't want to keep, any posters of Sebastian up or anything like that. And hey, Elisa P, I agree. Very fake. Um, it's definitely her best Meryl Streep. And I think Pascal said that. And I was cracking up when he said that. I said, that's exactly it. Her best performance. It's performative. It's fake. It's inauthentic, not genuine. Um, and, they have some very awkward moments in the interview, in my opinion. Wait, what, says shaking his head no as he talks like a liar does. Yes, he is saying, you know, we have fully cooperated with law enforcement, right? But instead of him shaking his head up and down, yes, affirmatively, he's shaking his head no back and forth, in a negative manner. But he's saying a positive, like, oh yeah, we have been cooperating. I noticed that too. Great catch on that. They're absolutely being dishonest in this interview, in my opinion. Elisa P says rocking is self-soothing. It is, and you can be soothing yourself, in order to help stick to the story, right? Stick to the script. It's different for everybody. It really is. Brenda Calvert says day 8, Chris P is more worried about himself and what people are saying about him than he is where Sebastian is, in my opinion. I agree with that, Brenda, 100%. And we see that even the news is wanting to perpetuate the drama, in my opinion, because I honestly would never report that. If I was the news, right, I might not report that. I just would probably say, Mr. Proudfoot, we see a lot of people that are going through this. Just keep your head up. Mrs. Proudfoot, I understand, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, for them to like perpetuate it is a little bit unnerving, in my opinion. Like, oh, these people are being harassed. Well, it's not about them. And they also didn't want to come out and talk about Sebastian. They actually probably wouldn't have come out and talk about Sebastian if they weren't having people apply pressure in the community. People holding other people accountable is not hateful behavior. You want accountability. So that's being misconstrued as hate and harassment, in my opinion. Do some people take it too far? Absolutely. No doubt. And I would be lying if I said, they haven't had their fair share of it. But if we look at Jaden Spicer's case, for example, and, his mother, Felicia Gross, would always like to go up to McDonald's every day. And, while everyone was searching for her son, she's over there trying to get McDonald's, and the people at McDonald's were upset with her, and rightfully so, because she wasn't out there searching for her son. She was out just grabbing herself something to eat and going back home. That's not normal. That is not okay. And then we find out that little 9-year-old Jaden Spicer's life was taken by his mother, right? So it's just very sad, and it's very reminiscent of Sebastian Rogers' case. And if they would have applied the pressure in the beginning, and if law enforcement would have questioned Katie like they were supposed to question her, then we wouldn't be sitting here right now going over this interview again. Brenda Calvert says, oh, sorry, Brenda, I read your comment and that's what sparked the conversation. Thank you. Thank you so much. You always have great comments. Andrea says, blinking her eyes too much, rocking, self-soothing, in my opinion. Yeah, and she will not look at the interviewer, right, Andrea? She just like refuses to look. And then she says that she's looking at photos of Sebastian, when she doesn't look at at the people. And, you know, we know that's not true because it's not like she's got a photo of him or a tattoo of him or anything like that when she's sitting there talking. I want to know if the reporter has a BS detector. I would think so. I think at first she really Holly Thompson probably really wanted to believe them, you know. And I also heard, and you guys can correct me or let me know if you know more information in the chat. But I heard that Holly Thompson is friendly with the Bauer Sox, right? Like Kathy, Cruella Mama Sox. That's what I heard, and that it was kind of a softball, and that's why it was such a softball interview. Um, because in America, we don't have the stipulations like you guys were telling me. In Canada, it's a little different. But we don't have the stipulations on the media like other places do, and that's because of our constitution. SI officer says seclusion, in my opinion, or the bribery and corruption that's taken place for so long. I think they are being manipulated, in a sense, blackmail. I agree with that, SI officer. It runs deep. It runs deep. And Katie and Chris are very well connected because of the Bauer Sox, right? The voice, Kiki, it drives me nuts too. He does, Terry. I agree. I agree. They both look extremely guilty, especially at the stopping point that I paused it. And so, and I did not plan that. Obviously, I just paused it randomly. But like these two faces are faces of people who look guilty, in my opinion. You know, Chi says, Andrea, I said the same thing. Lori says, yes, yeah, I agree. Essay officer. Magic Star says roller coaster implies they were all ups and downs. What are the ups? Star, good point. You know, I wish I knew more about that SI officer. I really do. I wish that I knew more. And if you guys know more about it, let me know. You know, if you don't feel comfortable saying it in the chat, send me an email and write, it in the subject line, information on Sunny Weatherford. I've always thought it was highly suspicious. I think all of us did. But I don't feel comfortable saying it, you know, because I don't have enough information on it. But SA officer says, in my opinion, possibly a bribery of get rid of the former sheriff and move into his place. Just take care of this case. So many different opportunities for them. Yeah, and I mean, I agree that it could very well be connected. And I wouldn't put it past the good old boy society system. Wait, what says this interviewer is the church lady, goes to church with CB and TB. Okay, that's what I thought. Because she talks about how the church is praying for him and everything. But, you know, like when I was passing out Sebastian's flyers, people were asking me if they could have an extra one so they could put it up at church and start a prayer circle for Sebastian. I said, yes, please do that. You know, Lolly says, yes, wait, what about the church lady? Thank you, Lolly, for confirming that, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't 100%, but I had heard something about it. So they're very well connected, right? Just very well connected. When you're in real estate in a town and you are out there selling homes and stuff like that, you get very well connected with other people, as well as when you're in sales positions. That's another one where you just network with others and you become more connected within the town. Deborah says, all I'm feeling is that, yes, something happened in the home that night, lights and help from the BS. And then what? I know, Deborah, that's where I'm at with everything because I feel like the lights are it, right? I feel like the lights are part of it. Or there was a handoff from the Texas Roadhouse, right? It took Katie a little bit extra long to get home. Oh, they're horrible liars, Lolly. They are horrible liars. You know, just horrible. Um, yeah, CP. What I mean, and that's the thing. This interview right here, and I know it's like so repetitive, but their micro expressions in this interview are off the charts. And this is why they don't like to show themselves because they know that they're doing these things and they can't help it. It's involuntary. Your brain is telling you don't lie, but you're lying through your teeth. And so your brain's telling on you. Your brain is going to tell on you. They are liars, Lori. They are. The laughs and the smirks are another big part of the body language and the facial expressions that we look for too. Kiki, yeah, and just the attitude, right? Just the overall vibe. Bless says, also in my opinion, as is all my comments. Yes, the search is being called off after what 8 days coincides with the flashlight video analysis conclusion. Apparently, they knew what they knew at that point. In my opinion, just saying. I mean, I get it. I get it, Blessed, and I agree with what you're saying there. I think looking back, and I think that is so smart and important to do, is when we look back at this, we see the connections and in the time frame of everything as well. And you're right. And I think that they were able to get all of the footage by the end of the week. And then they decided to well, and another thing that I find to be odd, they just well, I'll finish my thought. They decided to scale back the search. But another thing is too is that after this, they're also going to be searching the landfill. And so when they moved they scaled back ground searching, right? And then they moved it to investigative criminal investigation. In my opinion, it's always been criminal. And then they start doing that and then they end up at the landfill. But they say it's only precautionary. But I think that also coincides in a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about too. And I really want to look back at what was going on at that time in the case and, behind the scenes even. Oh yeah, he's boiling inside. Oh yeah, he hates having to be on the spot. He absolutely does not like it. And I mean nobody does, but I could see it too, Elisa, and it's the vibe. It's a lot about the vibe that he's giving off. Um oh, it's annoying, CC. Deborah says, see how she responded so fondly to wanting Sebastian home. To me, that looks like she knows he's gone permanently. There's a lot of indications or a lot of indicators, in my opinion, in this interview that leads me to believe the same thing, Deborah. It does, Chuchi says, yes, Lolly, very bad liars. Deep breathing is suspicious. Well, and she was told by Duchess to do that, right? So it's like, oh, if you do that, you can kind of get away with stuff. She was told to do that, in my opinion. So seclusion work says, so if the SPVM could move that fast for our daughter, wouldn't it be the same for Sumner County Sheriff's Office? Oh yes, because you guys have like that's the police there. I don't understand why they well, and again, I do think I will just say this. I think it does come back to that. They were operating only off of the assumption that Sebastian walked off, so even they weren't looking in other avenues of it until after they scaled the search back, apparently. But still, they were saying, we don't have any evidence that Sebastian walked off. We don't have any evidence that he left the house. It kind of evolved into that. Um, I haven't seen Silver lately, Terry. Excuse me, Terry. I have not. I have not. But I've been keeping busy too, so it's so hard for me to catch people. Like I'm so lucky if I get to catch other creators that I really enjoy, like especially when it's a Sebastian, but I always try to watch the replay. But I mean, catching a live is so hard. And it just really is. It could get, but I'll have to see because he's done a lot of hard work in the Sebastian Rogers case, just keeping his name out there. Oh, hey, Adam Forever 21, good to see you, and Carla, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So yeah, I'll have to take a look and see if I can spot if he's searching or not. Michelle says, "Oh, hey, Tina Girl, good to see you." Michelle Pacework says, "Rocking, soothing herself since she's stuck in the middle of people asking tough questions on the other side. Her director, like hubby, just making her know he's listening to make sure she gets the story right." Yeah, well, they absolutely answer for each other in some of this interview as well. I don't know that they were brought in for questioning. I think they were questioned in their own home, Terry. That's my opinion. Hey, IML, good to see you. So, I mean, because there's no indication that they were ever brought in, hauled in for questioning. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm so behind in chat. Oh, thank you, Holly S, for the super sticker. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. So, yeah, guys. Very, very crazy. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and keep going with this with Chris and Katie.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911?
He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
And so at that point, is that when you call 911, or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her, so
Yes,
you were not home.
No, ma'am. Okay. I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, it was like, what? I was confused. We talked about where it could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
Within minutes, they're there at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars.
They
had cars from here down to the
main
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, oh, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately, and we just don't have that.
After an accident, it can be devastating and you don't know where to turn. But
Is there anything that happened that day that you think back and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset, or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside? Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking, Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving. It'd make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or you'd been in trouble, but he hadn't even been in trouble. So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media?
Okay, guys. So the $1 million question, right? It's the $1 million question. He tells that to Duchess. He says it here. Those are the $1 million questions, I guess. There's one. Now he's adding two. And then he just kind of shrugs it off, right? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Carla, it is Holly Thompson from WSMV4. And she's a local. She's a local. Yeah. Well, and there's scratches all over Chris's arms, and you can see him in this. You can see him clear as day. I mean, there's no denying them. It's absolutely awful. But you can see them. Oh, maybe if I hover, they probably can't. I can't probably do that, but right here on his arms and over here. So the $1 million question is, how'd you get all those scratches all over your arms? And then he says they were from the Morkeys, right? So Leslie Keeping It Real says, see, it's all about CP. No one asked what he did for a living. Right, exactly. Exactly. And he gets nervous too when he's like, I was at the St. Jude Project. He starts stuttering during that as well. Which is weird. It's weird. You're welcome, Carla. And Ann Reynolds says, when will, I'm sorry. We went to go have lunch at Albert's sister, and it was what I thought it would have been. I got the cold shoulder. Oh, Ann, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, no. Oh, well, that's not nice at all. Those are from the snake. Yeah. Yeah. Elisa P. She saves the accent for certain people. She does. She definitely does. I agree with that. She changes it up. Chuchi says she stated she didn't know why why he walked out the door. In my opinion, Katie, you and Chris know he never walked out that door. You guys carried him out that door and to the waiting vehicle, in my opinion. Yeah, and I mean, if he had walked out the front door, he would have been caught on the ring camera. They say it in the Smiley interview. They talk about where the cameras are in the area to their knowledge, but they also went around asking for the camera footage as well. So that was another part of it. The $1 million question is how you all you got all the prep work done if KP and Sebastian only one's home, in my opinion. Too much work for you, even just two people. I mean, I agree with that too. I agree with that. Logistically, there would have to be more people involved in this, So it's very interesting, to say the least. And where was everyone else? And then what about Katie's friend? We also have Katie's friend in town as well. SI officer says, but they've been combing over their minds the last 2 weeks and would have and what could have possibly happened, blah blah blah. Yep. Yeah, because he's lying then when he stutters. I think so too. I think he was nervous. I think that was making him nervous, that question. Where were you, Chris? That's always been a point of contention with Chris, in my opinion. Oh, it is sick to watch. It is. And the lies, the manipulations. Nisi Marie says, and Nina's court date was March 3rd, 6 days. Sebastian happened to go missing. I still believe Sebastian was going to testify in his defense of how he was being treated. Could have that, in my opinion. Well, and I think that Sebastian would have been a good resource if the judge did have any questions. So I think they were worried about it because he could have been called in to all of it. And then with the CPS reports as well, we have the CPS involvement. Yeah, he is wearing the Shamrock hat. I don't know what kind of hat that is actually, like what the logo is though, Brenda. That's a good point.
The $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media? Is there anything that, anyone he could have contacted? I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He loves Minecraft. The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks
on the
internet. I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel that right now he's capable of having that kind of responsibility. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his game. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online capabilities with games. I mean,
we've combed every electronic. I
mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided, and still just don't have any answers.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this big question mark. He's vanished.
Yes, ma'am.
And no one can figure out where or why. All right. So let's talk too about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Right. And how would you describe that relationship, the two of them and the four of you?
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis. He's involved in school and therapy. And I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
Do you need $300, $500, or even $1,000 fast?
Okay, guys, so Chris doesn't look happy in my opinion, and I'll rewind it back just a little bit about talking about Seth. It seems to make him nervous, in my opinion, just when I see his facial expressions, his body language, the vibe, right? Yeah, poor Sebastian, Tina. Poor Sebastian. I feel so sorry for him and what he had to live with. Women's Warrior says, lady, after this interview, it appears that they start every other one with CP wasn't here. He was working away. Even in the America's Most Wanted, the main thing KP said right away is that statement, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to look out for that too, Women's Warrior. I believe you're correct here. I do. Just thinking back. Yeah. Chris was out of town. I know for sure they said it to Nancy Grace. Like, that's the one that sticks out to me the most. That's a great point. And I know they said it in America's Most Wanted. Very interesting. Thank you for that. Yeah. So, and I mean, we still don't really know, because even we were talking about Silvers earlier, he spoke to people at Chris's work. And I believe Silvers because I've never caught him in, umpteenth amount of lies. So that's why I believe Silvers. I don't know Silvers, but Brenda Calvert says, I think Chris and Katie were worried about charges stemming from the CPS case, so they got rid of the evidence, in my opinion. I think that's a strong possibility as well, Brenda Calvert. I think they were worried about everything because they have to be, you know. It's like what Sheriff Mike Morrison said in the Travis Decker case. They have to be perfect every time, and we just have to be, you know, perfect one time and catch their asses. And I agree with that, and I think that statement motivates me every day. Oh, hey, David Allen, thank you so much. Let me go ahead and check my email when I get back up, or when I get this back going here.
In two different households.
School and therapy, and I mean, he didn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
In two different households, and the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Tell me about Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn. He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves to play his games and his fidgets and Uno. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now. Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh,
he loves music.
An eclectic taste. I mean, from as everybody knows, Eye of the Tiger to Eddie Vedder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here. We've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her. I mean, country, rock,
no
classic.
hip hop. We don't allow the hip hop.
Well, he didn't really get into it anyways.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love the outdoors at all? I mean, would something outside that was somewhat outdoorsy be enticing to him or pull him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser. And every year I did this many laps. I did this many laps. I mean, I've got t-shirts where they would write on his back. Every time the kids went around, they'd mark a mark on the back and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back. He likes playgrounds. He hates being dirty. He don't like being dirty.
Yeah, he's not your tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals, but he's terrified of bugs.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, even a fly, and he's like,
oh! Let's talk too, because he's highly functioning. I know you all have described him as having a form of autism.
He does.
But just describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things and maybe how determined he was about certain things or his mindset.
He's got a stubborn mindset. If he believes it's this,
he gets on a one-man track and he is just on it, and he is all about it.
But I mean, he's very smart.
He
can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So
he loves playing games.
What about navigation? Like, did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
that is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get from like this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to Culver's.
Oh, the boy loves
He
a
knows
malt.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt. He loves malt, extra malt. Every time, extra malt.
Now, how far away does his dad live?
Clarksville. His dad lives up by Clarksville.
So he could guide someone all the way to Clarksville.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a pretty keen sense of direction, at least with certain things.
Familiar routes.
Yes.
Familiar routes.
Familiar
I
routes.
mean, if I took him another route going
He
this way,
takes
he would
it.
not know it.
He goes up there so often that he knows how to get to his daddy's. We know that.
His dad works with him as far as, well, we're going this way, we're going that way, and keeps the same thing, and it works out. So.
Let's talk too, because earlier, Chris, you and I were talking, and you were saying that there are a lot of people who are harassing both of you. What of any of that do you want to address? What do you want to say to any of these people?
Just that you don't know. And I don't wish you to ever know.
I would say it like this. Everybody has an opinion, you know, and it's perfectly okay to have that opinion, but you're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts. If they have questions, all they have to do is ask.
And I pray genuinely that no one ever goes through this.
Just be kind to people. I mean, it's real simple.
There are some people who have been talking, because I know this is part of the harassment. Is there anything you want to address about this child custody situation with the previous?
So I have a current case that is ongoing in another state. We've requested that case to be sealed because there are some individuals who have taken upon themselves to put stuff out there that they don't quite know, which all they have to do is ask, I'll tell you. But because of that, you know, it has nothing to do with our son. It has nothing to do with the situation. You know, I just, people would respect that and then keep an open mind. It's totally different.
If Sebastian is able to watch this, and maybe he's watching this as it airs, and if he is, what do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
Oh gosh, that we love you so much, and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, the open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice. That we just want our boy home. Badly. But
Okay, guys, I just wanted to go ahead and point this out. So he's like, bad, bad, badly. And then he sticks his tongue out. So here we go.
badly.
There it is. Sorry, I had to click it a couple of times. But right there, we see, you know, Chris sticking his tongue out.
That mama's heart. I know it's.
And then he almost looks up and, you know, I know that she kind of grabs his attention, but he almost looks up to see if she believes him.
Daddy's too. But I feel like there's always that extra special bond. Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
I mean, it's just odd to Katie in that closing her eyes. She never looks at the interviewers, you know. Hey, Kiki, good to see ya. Yeah, so my goodness, it's just odd. It's so odd.
Let's talk about the community because I want you all to know, even my church body. I mean, we're all praying. We're all praying for his safe return quickly. What do you all want to say to the community?
With everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay the gratitude, the love that we felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But
from the
don't
bottom of our
stop
hearts.
looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
This ain't over until he's home.
So we have, let's mention, let's get on the search itself, because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds, we've got volunteers, we've got law enforcement from within the state, from without, outside of the state. I mean, do you feel like they're doing as much as they can? I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do, but we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
They will. They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's basically, it's one day at a time, getting through this and bringing him home. What is the reaction to the fact that somehow his image, he hasn't been captured on any video anywhere?
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I'm asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
I understand there was a request for video, any sort of footage of Sebastian from earlier in the day on Sunday before he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point with law enforcement. That is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all.
He's not pervy, guys. I just wanted to point out he's not pervy.
Or he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point with law enforcement. That is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided. So cooperation is there. I mean,
What do you want to say to our viewers? Anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
help spread the word and keep searching, and thank you. And just if you think you see him, call him in.
Thank all the viewers, everybody that's helped from across the board. I mean, everybody has been tremendous.
Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll look, even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name.
See, and this bothers me too, guys, and this might just be me picking at the situation, but you know, most moms that have children on the spectrum, and I know that Sebastian's was a recent diagnosis, but they talk in terms of being verbal and nonverbal. Um, so do the doctors. And Sebastian's absolutely verbal. I mean, if he doesn't want to talk, that might be because he's shy or because he flat out doesn't want to talk. But I always thought this part was weird, and that Sebastian or that Katie wasn't really ever in tune to what Sebastian's needs were or his situation. Also, I think it speaks to them telling everyone that Sebastian, you know, was younger in mind, and then they're also kind of trying to push that he can't really, that he won't really talk or he can't talk. Even though she's saying he can talk, but sometimes he doesn't, right? So it's obviously confusing and doesn't give us a good indication of Sebastian and his personality, in my opinion.
Tell him to stay put.
He could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes. The search is never over until he comes home. That is for sure.
So smart.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's, like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community.
Yeah, you didn't think it was going to get this big, Chris.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's, like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying, hoping, and searching for Sebastian's safe return for that day. Thank you.
My mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother, my aunts as far back as I can remember, have always been there.
Now, Katie did tell me that even though Sebastian does have autism, he is a smart teenager. He is highly functional. They say if you see him, say his name, say Sebastian, and he'll respond. He'll at least acknowledge you. And I can tell you, this is my home. This is my community. And the people here are strong. They say they will continue to search. They will continue to hope and continue to pray for Sebastian's safe return. And by the way, you can watch my full exclusive interview with Sebastian's parents on our WSMV4 app. Live here in Hendersonville, Holly Thompson, WSMV.
It's a roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop.
This is our okay. Yes. Bravo. Thank you so much for coming. I called you to report a crime that I don't have nothing to do with. Okay.
Oh, this is a first.
I'm not involved in the crime. I didn't perpetrate the crime. I didn't do anything. Hypothetically, if I had, had done it.
Oh, hypothetically?
Just hypothetically speaking.
If you
Let's say I
had
did.
done it, get your ass in the car.
Hypothetically speaking, you're about to get your salad tossed in prison.
I'm your defense attorney, okay? Is to get you acquitted of all charges.
All charges.
Well, That's the $1 million question. I mean, what you want to just say to the answer to that question is no, I did not.
Okay, guys. Yep, I think that's it. Okay. So that's what I put together for you guys today, just to go over. And reading through the comments, I think it's absolutely sad that there have been no arrests in the Sebastian Rogers case. Um, Obviously, no one knows definitively whether Chris and Katie, what they did to Sebastian, because like Deborah was saying earlier, even if we know or think we know how Sebastian may have gotten out of the house, a lot of us think he was carried out. And I do too. And so, but what happened after that? We still need to find him. And, he could be somewhere out there still. I can't deny that. Um, oh, good, Deborah. I'm glad you saved the little baby bird. That's cute. Um, but law enforcement, in my opinion, is very corrupted. Tina, they are. And them just operating off of one assumption is not helpful when Sebastian is out there, and he's obviously at this point, it's 8 days in. They've scaled the search back, right? I found it a little bit odd that Holly Thompson was saying that the whole community was you know wanting to keep the flyers out and things like that, but we heard something a little bit different from Bobby the neighbor. She alluded to it on JLR when she was on the recorded call with Crimson and Stephen Crabtree. She said flat out, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the flyers. I'm sick of all of it. And I'm not saying she's speaking for everyone, but I just find it to be a major contrast to point out. Um, yeah, I will take my chances and say we pretty much have an idea. Right, exactly. I mean, in my opinion, um, I think Chris and Katie are absolutely involved, and I'm hoping that it's not the worst case scenario, but it's definitely been a very long time. And then they do not want Sebastian's missing flyers posted at Pigfest, or um, people to talk about Sebastian there. In my opinion, you know, Adam Forever 21 says he acts like he's a respectful man, but we've seen his colors run off his mouth from the other channels. Oh, definitely. And um he is very emboldened on the channels that he goes on. They were saying that Sebastian is young in mind, and then his teacher said something completely different. And then we have Chris Proudfoot, um, not very long ago at all. And this is a statement that he made. I believe he was on Granny's Watching. Here we go.
Very high functioning. I mean, and that's why, like, I was trying to just put it out there. Is like everybody has come up with this idea, and that's not the case. People would know Sebastian. Like, if we had never said he was autistic, people would not have a clue that Sebastian was autistic. They would thought something was wrong with him, and not ever said autism.
Right. And you know what? If he
Okay, so that's Chris. That's his real self there. Hey, Mama Bear. Mama Bear says I did the same thing, slowing the video down of Chris at the courthouse in an orange shirt, and he did the same thing with his tongue too. Yes, and we find that people who are being deceptive are lying. Let me see. Let me see, because I do remember seeing that as well. Um, so Um, and it could represent, that he's upset by something as well. Celine, good to see you. Celine says no, it's not just you. We see it. They believe we're really good to believe them, and they thought they would get away with this, and never in their wildest dreams did they think it would grow so big. Yeah, and people would forget Sebastian. I agree with that. I do, Celine. I think that they were shocked at how many people wanted to keep Sebastian's story alive and who are very dedicated to finding him and figuring out what happened to him. Um, so yeah, I absolutely agree. Thank you. And Carla says, we know how he got out of the house. Let me have 2 hours alone with Chris, please. I know. Well, I mean, and I would love to, and I did get the email, that Dara Allen sent. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. I wasn't able to read the whole thing just yet, but I kind of skimmed over it. And I would like to talk with Katie and just ask her, what is going on, at this point. But I don't know that anything that she says is going to be truthful. Serpents do the tongue thing too, CC, they do. Hey, Kai J's Campfire, good to see you. When she said they were amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back, it sounded like Chris said they won't, and then they will. Can you replay that? Yeah, sure thing. Let me go ahead and add to the stage. Sorry, guys, I put a little funny in at the end.
On Sunday before he disappeared.
The video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom,
Sorry, let me try to
myself,
find
and the
it,
Father
guys.
have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided. So cooperation is there. I mean,
What do you want to say to our viewers? Anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
help has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying, hoping, and searching for Sebastian's safe return for that day. Thank you both for
Thank
talking
you.
with me.
Oh, sorry, I think I went too far back.
Like, the search is never over until he comes.
He's not being verbal at the moment because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name, tell him to stay put.
He could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes, like the search is never over until he comes home. That is for sure.
So smart.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying, hoping, and searching for Sebastian's safe return for that day. Thank you both for the community, because I want you all to know your special bond. Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
let's talk about the community, because I want you all to know, even my church body, I mean, we're all praying for his safe return quickly. What do you all want to say to the community?
With everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay the gratitude, the love that we've felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But
from the
don't
bottom of our
stop
hearts.
looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
This ain't over until he's home.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, it took me a minute to find it. Yeah, when he said that they're amazing, I think he did say they will. But let me go back again really quick since we found it.
We felt from the community, the prayers, but thank you.
But
from the
don't
bottom of our
stop
hearts.
looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
This ain't over until he's home.
So we have, let's mention, let's hit on the search itself, because
Did I find the right spot? I'm sorry, guys. I thought I found it. I'm not sure. I don't really think they like the help, Tabitha, but thank you for your comment. Yeah, I wonder why Sumner County Sheriff's Department doesn't ask the creators for their videos if they aren't building a case. What was the point? Yeah, or if they did want the videos, what's the point of having them if they're not going to do anything? I agree with that. Michelle says, I would be curious if any new landscaping has been done in their back garden. I'm curious about that too. I don't know. Somebody asked where are they at, and I'm not sure if they're still in the neighborhood or not. Yeah. Cece says Sebastian's disappearance may ruin their good time at Pigfest. Well, we can't let them forget, that he's still out there somewhere. Good night, Leslie. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's rough listening to those, right? It's very rough. Very rough. And that was when Chris was doing the tour around YouTube. The most recent one. Tina Girl says, why does he say that something is wrong with him, but wouldn't think autism? Yeah, or he says you wouldn't think he had autism. You'd know something was wrong with Sebastian, which is just odd. Yeah, Edgar goes onto the hate channels, but not on Justin's. I wonder why that is. Yeah, he won't go on to any of the good channels. None of them, I mean, and the thing is that typically if you have someone like, even for example, whenever I had Panda Bear's mom up and Town Chat Cafe, I worked with them on the phone, and we put all the research together that we had and bounced ideas off of each other before we even did a panel, because I wanted it to flow and be informative. Plus, Devlin's case has a lot of twists and turns in it. The family dynamics are a little bit off from traditional ones, and so it's more difficult to convey the story. And so, I don't understand why they wouldn't go on someone who's well thought out like that, but they would rather just go on and like kind of shoot the shit with the creators that they like. So it's odd. It's very odd because they're not interested in finding Sebastian, in my opinion. Brenda Calvert says taunting Seth and making fun of him too. I myself can't wait to see him in prison jumpsuit. Right, the orange, the orange would be a good thing. Tina, I agree. Brenda. Tina says, what does he mean by that? What would we think? Then I want to know what he thinks. Yeah, I know. Well, and he says that he's not, able to tell us certain things. He told that to Duchess too, and we heard that yesterday. Uh, That's a liar's tongue evil. Yeah, exactly, Nisi Marie. I agree. I think that's what it was. He was, because he's like, we want him home bad, bad, badly. And then he just couldn't even stand the thought and sticks his tongue out. It was when he moved to the front row. Yeah, great point, Mama Bear. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kiki. Thank you, guys. Sometimes I wonder if he did it all with help, and she's naive. I think my initial reaction to this interview and interview, and I told you guys that I in the beginning thought that this was their first interview, right? But it turns out it was with Duchess. But when I first saw this, I thought to myself, I wonder if Katie knows, you know? I wonder if Katie is aware of what happened or if Chris came in and got him in the middle of the night. But now that we're reviewing it, so far into the case, right? Almost 2 years later, I look at it a little bit differently. I really do, because I think that we would have definitely seen someone on camera in the neighborhood, and they would have been able to, see, like, because he would have had to have come in maybe even through Sebastian's window or something like that, and if it wasn't for the light source going from the house and then coming back to the house, I might also think that she was oblivious. But since she was the only one there, it just automatically leads me to believe that it was her. And Sandwich says, KJ's campfire, yes, like they knew who they were. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and I think they know exactly what happened to Sebastian. I do. I do. Um, Michelle says she did know and helped, in my opinion. I think so too. Yeah, I think it was all of them together. All of them together. Jabra Allen says you may share it with anyone and everyone also. Thank you. I will do that. I will do it. I'll do a video, Jabra, because I think what you wrote was really nice. Like I said, I haven't been able to, give it my full attention, but I will. Because I think Katie holds the key, right? And I don't say that to be a jerk. I'm not trying to just be a flat out asshole, I'm not. But I really do think that she holds the key, and she was the last one with Sebastian. Um, hey, I don't know if there was some sort of an accident or something like that, but I do, in my opinion, think that this was all premeditated. We have the ultimatum that was given. Deborah says, I wonder why we don't get it into our own missing kids like the USA does here, little Miss Sharon. Yeah, yeah. I think it's important for every single person who goes missing to get exposure, no matter what their age is, but especially kids, especially kids, Deborah. Tina says that it breaks my heart. She really didn't want debts. Yeah. Well, and like I've said before, I think that Katie is in a very tough position without a support system. The Bower Sox are her support system, right? And she's not going to leave that behind, you know. Essay officer. Oh, Mama Bear says, don't get overexcited when pleading for your son to be found. Good grief. Could she say it more softly? I know. Well, and that's the thing. I took this interview and I upped the volume on it 100, double, all the way up as far as I could, in order, because some of what they were saying was very low and soft spoken. And another thing is we didn't know at this point that Chris and Katie were in the military, right? And so I'm looking at Katie like she's like this housewife that's never gone into the workforce, but she's not that person. She's not who she's portraying herself to be, in my opinion. You know? Tina says she didn't want Sebastian, and she also didn't want Seth to have him. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. A big part of it. Michelle agrees. SI officer says, but we don't want you passing out the flyers to bring acknowledgement to Sebastian for Sebastian or to find my son. That is contradicting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she says I don't want him to get lost or fall into the bottom of a feed. You know. So it's very odd because she says one thing and does another, or they say, we're never going to stop searching when they really never started searching, right? We know that they've never searched. It falls really, really short, and it's very, very infuriating to people who actually follow the case. It just really is, you know? And I think she looks up into the heavens like she did in the interviews on the first year. She looks up and talks about Sebastian. A lot of her mannerisms are very reminiscent of Chris Watts. In the weirdest way, it's uncanny. It's uncanny. SI officer says that's exactly right. CPU never thought this would have any, that he would have an army standing behind him wanting justice for your actions, in my opinion. I agree with that too, SI officer. They never thought it was going to get this big. They never thought people would be so interested in the case for so long. But we have people who just want nothing more than to find Sebastian. And I think we will. SI officer says you just thought because he had no friends and that he was quiet, this was going to go away, in my opinion. 100%. Very well said. And I agree with that. I agree. They thought, oh, nobody's going to care about Sebastian, right? Because they obviously don't care about Sebastian. I mean, Chris has a lot of disdain for Sebastian, and it's about to spill out as we go through these interviews. But I think it's very important to keep analyzing this particular interview, like I said, because of the body language, because of the facial expressions that we're able to see in this one that we're not able to see in many of them because they hide behind the avatar. But I also want to do some comparisons as well, which we'll bring those into. I'll be working on that video in order for us to contrast to what they're saying here. So what I'd like to focus on too is, what are the statements that are consistent and what are the statements that are inconsistent from what they said on Duchess to what they said to Holly Thompson, right? This is one day, right? They went on the night before, right, to Duchess, and then this is on March 3rd, and then this is March 4th, right? So their stories should not change drastically at all because it's just one day apart. So I think that this is a really good opportunity for us to examine and dissect what we're seeing and hearing here. Even down to when Katie starts doing that high-pitched crying, the fake crying. Kiki says right there he didn't know what she was gonna say, what is the whisper. Yeah. She said he's so smart. She said he's so smart. He's so smart. I think she does do a whisper a couple times. And then another time she whispers, she's like, I don't know where he is. I wish I knew where he was. Too. I'm trying to think of where I can find here. Actually, it's not very long. I can just rewind it over and hold on.
How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
I'll get caught up in chat too, guys.
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah,
He's gonna
always.
come home.
He's gonna walk through that door, and this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug him, love him, and
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
So here we are, 8 days now searching for him. Walk us through that Sunday night that he went missing. So walk us through, we've got so many people who really want to know, okay, how did this happen? So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Said goodnight to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
So in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6 o'clock?
6.
So were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be already in the shower?
I took a
in the living
second.
room?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, "I can't find him." He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
And so at that point, is that when you call 911, or what's going through your mind?
while we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her, so
Yes,
you were not home.
No, ma'am. Okay. I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude Project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, I was like, what? I was confused. We talked about where he could possibly be. And then we went from there and led to calling the cops. And here we are now.
Within minutes, they're at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars.
They
had cars from here down to the
main
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, oh, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately. And we just don't have that.
Is there anything that happened that day that you think back and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset, or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside? Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving. It'd make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hadn't been in trouble. So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media? Is there anything that, anyone he could have contacted? I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He loves Minecraft. The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks on internet. I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel that right now he's capable of having that kind of responsibility. So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his gaming. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online capabilities with games. I mean,
We've combed every electronic.
I mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided, and still just don't have any answers.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this big question mark. He's vanished.
Yes, ma'am.
And no one can figure out where or why. All right. So let's talk too about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Right. And how would you describe that relationship, the two of them and the four of you?
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis. He's involved in school and therapy. And I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
In two different households, and the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Tell me about Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn. He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves to play his games and his fidgets and Uno. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now. Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh, he loves music.
An eclectic taste.
How many?
An eclectic. I mean, from as everybody knows, Eye of the Tiger to Eddie Vedder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here. We've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her. I mean, country, rock,
no
classic.
hip hop. We don't allow the hip hop.
Well, he doesn't really get into it anyways.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love the outdoors at all? I mean, would something outside that was somewhat outdoorsy be enticing to him or pull him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser. And every year I did this many laps. I mean, I've got t-shirts where they would write on his back. Every time the kids went around, they'd mark a mark on the back and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back. He likes playgrounds. He hates being dirty. He don't like being dirty.
Yeah, he's not your tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals, but he's terrified of bugs.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like,
Let's talk too, because he's highly functioning. I know you all have described him as having a form of autism.
He does.
But just describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things and maybe how determined he was about certain things or his mindset.
He's got a stubborn mindset. If he believes it's this,
he gets on a one-man track, and he is just on it, and he is all about it.
but I mean, he's very smart.
He's
I mean,
smart.
he can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So
He loves playing games.
What about navigation? Like, did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
that is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get from like this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to Culver's.
Oh, the boy loves
He
a
knows
malt.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt. He loves malt, extra malt. Every time, extra malt.
Now, how far away does his dad live?
Clarksville. His dad lives up by Clarksville.
So he could guide someone all the way to Clarksville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a pretty keen sense of direction, at least with certain things.
Familiar routes.
Yes.
Familiar routes.
Familiar routes.
I mean, if I took him another route going
He
this way,
takes
he would
it.
not know it.
He goes up there so often that he knows how to get to his daddy's. We know that.
His dad works with him as far as, well, we're going this way, we're going that way, and
Mm-hmm.
keeps the same thing, and it works out. So
Let's talk too, because earlier, Chris, you and I were talking, and you were saying that there are a lot of people who are harassing both of you. What, of any of that, do you want to address? What do you want to say to any of these people?
Just that you don't know. And I don't wish you to ever know.
I would say it like this. Everybody has an opinion, and it's perfectly okay to have that opinion, but you're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts. If they have questions, all they have to do is ask.
And I pray genuinely that no one ever goes through this.
Just be kind to people. I mean, it's real simple.
There are some people who have been talking, because I know this is part of the harassment. Is there anything you want to address about this child custody situation with the previous?
So I have a current case that is ongoing in another state. We've requested that case to be sealed because there are some individuals who have taken upon themselves to put stuff out there that they don't quite know, which all they have to do is ask, I'll tell you. But because of that, it has nothing to do with our son. It has nothing to do with the situation. I just, people would respect that and then keep an open mind. It's totally different.
If Sebastian is able to watch this, and maybe he's watching this as it airs, and if he is, what do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
Oh gosh. We love you so much, and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, The open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice. We just want our boy home. Bad. Badly. But
That mama's heart, I know it's daddy's too, but I feel like there's always that extra special bond. Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
Let's talk about the community, because I want you all to know, even my church body, I mean, we're all praying. We're all praying for his safe return.
A 3-part Providence Falls special event.
I will always love you in this life.
Quickly, what do you all want to say to the community?
with everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay the gratitude, the love that we have felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But
from the
don't
bottom of our
stop
hearts.
looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
This ain't over until he's home.
So we have, let's mention, continue with the search itself, because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds, we've got volunteers, we've got law enforcement from within the state, without, outside of the state. I mean, do you feel like they're doing as much as they can? I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do, but we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
Okay, guys, that's the part that Kai J was looking for earlier. So sorry about that. That's the part right there where she says, they've done a great job, but they still haven't brought my baby back. And I am so sorry to Brenda Calver. I tried to go into the studio and look. Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, great. Thank goodness. I was looking for you and I couldn't find you in there hidden. And I'm thinking maybe I have to wait until after the live. Okay, great. I'm glad. Yeah, anything of real interest to Sebastian, he'll remember. I agree, Deborah. I agree. Word salad full of lies for sure. Yes, absolutely, Michelle. I know, SI officer. It does me too. It does me too. And I thought it was interesting. KJ Mac says, he doesn't say I love you. He says a detached, I guarantee you he's loved, just like she said we love you but not I love you. Right, very good point there. And it's all about what they're saying, in my opinion, and how they're saying it. And right there are two great examples of how, Chris is using that distancing language, right? Very detached, like KJ Mac is saying I agree, or excuse me, I guarantee that Sebastian's loved. I guarantee he is loved. And then also when Katie says we love you, not I love you. Also, it's really important to point out that Katie's story has always been that Sebastian said good night mama, good night puppies, or I love you, but she never says I love you back, which is, a big red flag. And they are very hard to listen to now that we know. It's tough, you know. Meow, good to see you. Thank you for hitting that like button and welcome in. No worries, CC. I used to do it all the time. Well, I haven't lately because I have the computer now, but like before, I would hit it because it was right on my phone that way. Um, Detroit Rock City says they still haven't brought my baby back. Who is she talking about, really? I know, exactly. Well, it is strange. Because you do start looking at your child not as much. I mean, they're always going to be your baby, like no matter what. Yeah, always your baby, right? But you start kind of looking at them as a an older child. I mean, I would just think she would say, I just want them to bring Sebastian back to me. I just want them to bring my son. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just want me to bring the baby back is kind of strange. So, well, and he just wouldn't make it without shoes. That is the big mistake that they made, in my opinion. He would never make it without shoes. I mean, if his dad lived maybe, I mean, I don't even know that he would make it a quarter mile in the middle of the night with no shoes on. I mean, because your feet would just get sore. You would have scrapes and cuts all over them. That's why we don't walk around barefoot. I mean, believe me, if I could walk around barefoot, I'm the type of person where I mean, I do wear flip-flops all the time in Florida, but even before, I love wearing flip-flops. I don't really like wearing socks and shoes a whole lot, right? Unless it's cold and my feet are cold, but then I'll usually wear slippers or something like that, or the slipper socks, whatever. But no, I'm not a big fan of that. And if I could walk around barefoot, I would, but you can't. It would be really impossible. I would, like I said, I have the challenge out there. So if anybody wants to take the challenge, walk in the middle of the night and see how far you get barefoot. I don't think we would. None of us. Um, you know, and I understand that there are a lot of children that do like the sensory feel of being barefoot and feeling, the earth and everything like that. I understand that there's certain sensations and things, but that's not Sebastian, right? Well, for one, he had the issue with the ant hill, right? Um, Hey Kai J, good. I'm glad you're still here. I wanted to let you know. I think I played the wrong part earlier and I finally found it. We played it over again. This part right here that you were talking about. Um, yeah, it's just there's just so many things, I guess. My point is that there's so many things that just aren't adding up when it comes to their story, when it comes to how Sebastian is, especially when they talk about how Sebastian loves to swim. Yes, he is attracted to water. It is something that he finds to be calming and he enjoys, but he loves to be in the swimming pools, right? He doesn't want to be in a lake or a river or a pond. Um, or not necessarily. I mean, I'm not saying that he never would, but it's not as if he's drawn to the water where he understands the difference between the pool and some kids on the spectrum don't. It's just all water to them, right? But Sebastian, that's not Sebastian. And again, we see him in the pool wearing water shoes, for crying out loud. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious, you know? They were asking about the police. Katie says this, and Chris says they won't, in my opinion. Yeah. And um, I honestly think that Katie threw that in order to sound more realistic or authentic, maybe is a better word. Tina says he didn't have shoes because he wasn't walking out. And I agree, Tina, because people would not make it far. People would not make it far. And Kiki says yes. Sorry, Nisi Marie. Yeah, and I'm sorry. I want to play. I will play the Nancy Grace interview. We're gonna definitely analyze that again. Brenda says she liked him when he was a baby. In my opinion, that's why she said that. And oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, babies are cute. You know, Sebastian was adorable when he was a baby. Yeah, I don't know. You could be right. You know, she seemed to have had more adoration. Although there's been a couple pictures where I have to say Katie looks like a proud mom, you know. I don't know. I really have a bad feeling about Katie's mindset and the support system. It's going back to Brittany Gosney, right? For me, it brings me back to Brittany Gosney. Um, and for those of you who don't know who she is a mother who reported her son James Hutchinson missing, and she was immediately brought into an interview, right? So they can help find little James. He's 6 years old and went missing. She said that he went to bed at 9 o'clock and they went to bed at 10 o'clock. Her and her boyfriend, who's also named James, but around here we call him Russell because he doesn't like to be called Russell. So we call him Russell. And because little James is named James, and, you know, all of that. So Brittany and Russell, they turns out they basically plotted against the kids, and this is their story. They said that that James didn't want the kids anymore, and so she was going to drop them all off at a park. There were two other little girls, James's sisters, who survived this. But Brittany did report him missing. The police did bring her in to interview, all the while searching for James, getting the information. Brittany's story was not adding up. It's exactly like Katie Proudfoot, and her fairy story that she tried to push off, in my opinion. And it was because of the police work that was done is the reason why there was a conviction. And, you know, unfortunately, James Hutchinson, little 6-year-old James Hutchinson, has never been found, but there was a confession and a guilty plea. And apparently they threw him into the Ohio River, and he's not been found. But I believe in my heart of hearts that if they would have taken Katie in and did this investigation into a missing child's case properly, we would not be here. You know? Hey, Joe. Are you happy with the job the police are doing? They're amazing, but they haven't brought my baby home. Chris says they won't, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. I think I read that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And he backtracks a lot in these statements as well. And again, it's also, you know, speaks to the affirmative head shaking when he's saying something negative and vice versa. SI officer says, if it was me as a parent, I would be a mess, unable to even speak. I mean, I don't know exactly how I would be, um because I think about that too. Like, would I be so upset that I wouldn't be able to talk, or would I be like more vocal? Would it motivate me to be very vocal? um I don't know. And you don't know until you're going to go through it. That's why it's so hard with these cases. But then when we analyze these, hey Faye, good to see you. Thank you for being here. But you know, I mean, I think that's what makes it so difficult, because even when I look at little Renesmee. Like, I thought maybe there was going to be an overwhelmed, you know, family, right? And they just couldn't take care of the kids, and you know, little Renesmee kind of fell through the cracks, so to speak. But come to find out, there was horrific abuse in that house. Horrific. I mean, only monsters could do what they did, right? So we know it exists, and it doesn't matter if Chris and Katie have a nice house or if they live in a hole. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. You can live in a friggin' mansion and still there's abuse in the house. It depends on who lives there, right? KJ Maxx says there is no way he went a long distance barefoot or in socks. No way, not in that territory. That's what I'm thinking too, KJ Mack. And also, like, if he was wearing socks, they would be all tore up, you know, from like the concrete. Like, even if he just walked on the sidewalks, you know, like stuck to the main roads, but like even so, those roads, like we've seen them, you know, um yeah, it's not forgiving terrain. And then there's wooded areas that maybe he could cut through and stuff, but still he wouldn't make it with no shoes. You know, there's a reason why we have different types of shoes too, like hiking boots, right? Because you want to protect your feet and you want to keep them clean and dry. You know, gosh, watch Forrest Gump. Hello, you know. But you do. You want that's why we have, you know, the protective gear when you're hiking and stuff. But other than that, and you know, Sebastian, speaking of boots, Sebastian just got a new pair of boots from his dad. They went up to Boot Barn and bought a new pair of boots. So why would he leave without shoes? Again, his mother also bought him a new pair of tennis shoes, according to Seth. Hey, YouTubers here. Good to see ya. So, you know, I mean, there's that as well. Nisi Marie says if his shoes were there, he made it home. Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. Then something happened around that time, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I think, in my opinion, sometime around the bedtime, I think maybe something was happening in the house after, because I'll just say my main reason for thinking that is because of what we saw at the Texas Roadhouse. Something was going on. You know, Sebastian he was plugging his ears when he gets out of the vehicle, out of Katie's SUV, right? He's plugging his ears. He walks into the restaurant. They sit down. He looks over at the game. He wants to play it. She asks it, you know, he asks her, you know, can I play it or whatever? And she just, you know, slides the menu across the table to him. And then there's not a whole lot of conversation. A little bit of conversation happens. She shows him something on her phone. She takes some pictures of Sebastian. Um, and then, you know, they sit there and they have a kind of a heated conversation. There were times when Katie was using her hands to indicate to Sebastian that there was some issues, or it looked like she was telling him something in a very stern, you know, motherly way. We all know the mom look. If we're a mom, we've given the mom look, right? If you're trying to explain something to anyone and you're trying to put your, you know, make your point across, put your point across to them, you might use your hands, and you know, the way that she's using her hands is indicating that she's telling Sebastian something, giving him, you know, what's going to happen. And then she also does that with her spoon, where she, you know, points it at him. And in my opinion, they were not having a happy conversation. There's no sound to the Texas Roadhouse footage that we have, um, and so all we have to rely on is a bad camera angle, where at least we do get to see Sebastian's facial expressions, but we don't get to see Katie's as much until she kind of turns around when she's doing the odd looking, etc. So, SI officer says by the images we saw, he's carried out on a bar, in my opinion, a curtain rod over the left shoulder. Well, and those pictures are they're very interesting, and I know that they're up for interpretation, but um I can absolutely see where Chris and Katie, it appears, and some other people involved, are helping to get Sebastian out of the house, and on top of it, the 3 a.m. car is in the area at that same time, um, which would indicate that there was a connection, and then the 3 a.m. car pulls onto Stafford and trips off the motion sensor light. It's a very realistic series of events, right? That they don't want us to look at for some reason, SI officer. And it's very apparent to me that someone brought something or someone from the house. Another thing that Bobby the neighbor said was that someone was carrying somebody out. And so that would support what you just said, in my opinion, right? It corroborates it. There's a witness, right? Bobby's a witness, in my opinion, especially if she's witnessed the footage, right? From the neighborhood. Not everybody's been privy to that. Just kidding. Privy. Kai J's Campfire says rewind the interview 30 seconds. They're talking about how happy they are with the police efforts. Okay, yeah, I will do that. Thank you. Give me 1 second here. It's so hard to tell where exactly I'm at. Okay, there we go. I'll just do it here.
Because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds. We've got volunteers. We've got law enforcement from within the state, outside of the state. I mean, do you feel like they're doing as much as they can? I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do, but we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's one day at a time, getting through this and bringing him home. What is the reaction?
Kai J's Campfire, I'm going to have to listen to that again. I'm going to have to really put my earbuds in and listen to that again. That's interesting. Yeah, it sounds like he says they won't and then they will. I see what you're saying.
Brought my baby back.
They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's one day at a time, getting through this and bringing him home. What is the reaction to the fact that somehow his image hasn't been captured on any video anywhere?
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I went asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores. um, to check even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
I wasn't always here, but thanks to Purdue Global, I got my literal dream job.
3 years ago, I didn't have a degree. I liked my job. I just hit a ceiling. I needed the credentials.
I never thought college was my thing.
Getting a degree backed by the power of Purdue, hey boss.
I understand there was a request for any video anywhere.
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I went asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
I understand there was a request for video, any sort of footage of Sebastian from earlier in the day on Sunday before he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this.
Okay, guys, so I wanted to just chime in here. KJ Max said something really, really awesome here. If it was planned, I think the next morning of reporting Sebastian missing would have been much more eloquently executed. It was sloppy, even with the three-way, in my opinion. Same with her search that morning. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. You know, I really can't, even though I myself think it was planned out. I do think it was planned, but I was thinking maybe, a year, but then I was like, well, maybe it was, the third or fourth CPS report, that, which one was the one that broke the camel's back, so to speak. I've thought about it being, a matter of Sebastian, telling, right, or testifying, or whatever, or them finding out about the CPS, because we were talking about that earlier. But I agree with what you're saying. I just wonder, after whatever happened, if that was where they started to panic, because you never know how you're gonna feel after you've done something horrific or a big accident happens. Because if it was an accident, I see exactly what you're saying. I mean, it was sloppy. It's like like they were covering up, but they weren't doing a good job of it. Like, I'm right there with you. Yeah. And that's something definitely to think about. I think it is, in that way, just critically thinking, okay, well, how would this work, or why does it work or doesn't? And that's very well said, because yeah, it was absolutely sloppy. The three-way call, right? They were missing major details, but then again, I'm like, there's no perfect crime, so I'm like, oh, it's yeah, but that is just so well said. I cannot disagree. Cece says, why was being happy so emphasized? Makes me think that there were many unhappy times in that house. Well, and you're not in trouble, you're not in trouble. It's like, well, why are you telling him that over and over again? And then we see the Texas Roadhouse video, and it's like, it's such validation for those of us who found there, and many of us did find there to be a lot of red flags in these statements about being in trouble. And he was in trouble at the Texas Roadhouse. I mean, it's just undeniable the way that she was pointing at Sebastian, that things weren't, the best. Sorry, it always makes me have the big head. But that's what really happens. Or that's what really happened, excuse me, at the Texas Roadhouse. She's doing the Y at him. She's doing the, all four fingers, and thumb to the side, towards Sebastian. That's very aggressive. My dogs don't like when you do that. Like I should, too bad I'm not on camera, but the way that she's doing that, all four fingers pointing towards him like that, the dogs never like that. I don't, it's because it's aggressive. But that's how she's pointing to him, right? And then in the one, she's got all of her hands pointing towards him, and she's also leaning forward, right? You can see her leaning forward, and look at Sebastian's little face. Look at him, guys. I mean, golly. At least he got a little peace and quiet when the food came, but then she denied him a role. I mean, all of it's just bad. It's so bad, like someone else said. I can't remember who might have said that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and that's it too. There's a lot of the lapses in time are the really big indicators, right? Magic Star says absolutely, KJ Mac. There's a huge time frame between 9 a.m. and 6 a.m. where a chunk of Sebastian's night is unaccounted for, and even earlier too. I think Star, if because I kind of count it. If they say they got home around 7. Right? And then he takes the trash out shortly after they get home. So even so, that's still like another hour and a half. So like 7:30 to 6 a.m. And then I don't know that I know there was talk about like a silhouette in the window, you know. So yeah, we're gonna go over all the interviews. We're gonna go all over all of them, you know. Nisi Marie says YouTuber, I think they was jammed in the flashlight video, I think. I found a jammer, had to look it up. A blue light is on a jammer. I looked up, and then a blue light appears in the flashlight video. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I think that they definitely hacked that camera on the corner. And that's what we were kind of talking about the one night. It's odd how cameras were going haywire and things like that, but then, even so, Sebastian was not caught on any of them, in my opinion, you know? He said they won't, they will need. Yeah, he said they won't, they will. Weird. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I was like. I wanted to listen, with my earbuds again. And I could even take that clip and make it louder, and we could go over it because I want to do the micro expressions. So great find, Kai J's campsite. They won't. OMG, Kiki says, thanks, guys. I didn't know. Yeah, the headphones. You got to put the headphones in. You can hear so much, like everything through the headphones so much better. I even have like a little intro thing that I have added in my videos, especially because with Katie, like Katie's far off, right? Like, and I do my best with like trying to enhance the audio and stuff like that, but with Katie it's very difficult because she's in the background and she's acting as if she doesn't know how to speak up and use her big girl voice, um so it's very bizarre. um and it's a distraction. It's to distract, in my opinion, from what's really going on. um Well, I think that I also do think that he could have starred because I saw your comment earlier. I do think that Sebastian, like, definitely could have bypassed things or certain parental things or whatever. Like, I mean, he was old enough to sneak a phone or bypass certain capabilities even on the Switch. I agree. I think that he was fully capable of doing that. Um, yeah, CP said it. Pervy alert, pervy. I'm not pervy. To prove where he's at, right? Well, they're always about proving it, right, KJ Mac? They're always about proving it. Yeah, see, and that's why we needed the headlamps and night vision goggles allegedly. Yeah, oh, definitely. SI officer and the headlight thing or the headlamp thing, I think it's very clear to see it. Especially if like from the stills when they put the circle around it. You could really tell too from the Nick Barris video that those are probably headlamps instead of, flashlights, just because of the way they're pointing, in my opinion. Yeah, the night vision goggles is interesting. Magic Star says, you know what? That reminded me of her reaction to Sebastian wanting to play on the entertainment pad at the Texas Roadhouse. She had such a harsh reaction, in my opinion, if Sebastian snuck the Switch. Oh, yeah. Into his bedroom after 9 p.m. Then there's the thud, knock it off. Maybe it was over the Switch. Well, and I mean, I think that's a strong possibility. Um, the thud, and but they moved the thud up too to 10. Well, they said 10 o'clock, then they said after 10 o'clock. Excuse me. Katie changed up her story a couple times on that too. Like, of course, when she's talking to Nancy Grace, it's, oh, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? Oh, Bubba, and then, she changed it from Smiley Story's interview, said it was a noise. It progressively got worse. And then in the latest TBI release, they called it a friggin' bang. But I mean, he had carpet in his room, and even Nancy was like, hey, does Sebastian have hardwood or carpet? She was trying to figure out where the bang could have came from, right? Or the thud or the noise or the whatever. But Katie was trying to make people on the internet think that Sebastian was doing something nefarious in his room, in my opinion, which is disgusting and a jerk move on her part. And she did do that. And then, we also had Seth in the chat, and he said, look, Sebastian didn't have the doorknob on his door at his mother's, right? Weird. So Detroit Rock City says, when she asked about the shower, KP never says, oh, he took a shower last night or anything. That's a really great point, Detroit. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. About getting ready for his day the night before. Did she make his lunch, check his homework, put out his clothes, right? Any of that kind of stuff. We've talked about it here too. And it's such a good point. To bring it up, like, with the shower, because even Holly Thompson gives her that idea or brings it up. And Peter Hyatt was talking about that too, how that he felt like in the interviews, they were giving Chris and Katie too many ideas. He was like, just when you're doing the interview, just ask the question, right? Don't give them an out or don't give them options, right? Because then they can mirror match whatever the interviewer is saying, and really good example of that is the shower, because Holly Thompson is asking leading questions, right? She's saying, "Oh, was he possibly in the shower? Was he doing this?" And then that gives Katie an out to say, "Oh yeah, yeah, he, I thought he might have been in the shower." But she messes up big time, and she says, "Oh, I went to go check to see if he was in the kitchen." Well, you know, fun fact, her bedroom, right, is located on the other side of the house. And when she walks to Sebastian's bedroom from her bedroom, she has to go past the kitchen. And it's an open concept kitchen. So she done fucked up. Katie. Katie done fucked up. Yeah. Faye says, I bet the three-way call was between Chris, Katie, and Craddock. Yeah. Oh, I agree. I believe it was either him or one of the other ones that they know. Yeah. Yeah, if you can. Tabitha says, if I give my dog the finger, he attacks. He's only 4 pounds. He doesn't like it though, right, Tabitha? Yeah. I don't know, when all 4 fingers together and pointing at the dog, oh my gosh, they do not like it. I don't know why. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Magic Star says they micromanaged him. Yeah, absolutely. And Star, I don't think those machines cost anything. I remember being in like a Chili's or something, and I played that machine and I did not pay for it. I mean, and I'm not saying somebody else didn't pay for me to play it either. I don't think it costs anything. And I played the game. It was like a virtual version of the game of life because we were playing it at the table is what it was, but it didn't cost anything to play it. It's not like they, you get your bill and they just billed you a bunch of money to play the video game. So I mean, I don't know if that one, but whenever I go on the trip, I definitely want to go to the Texas Roadhouse. That is going to be part of the trip, is to go to the Texas Roadhouse. I really don't want to go into Sebastian's neighborhood particularly. I don't. It's just I don't know. I guess it would help me to get perspective in person, but I just don't want that kind of. I don't know. It just gives me bad juju just thinking about it. Like it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Ugh. I don't know. I just. Ugh. But they did, yeah. So they micromanage him. He didn't have a room to mess up even an inch without getting in trouble. In my opinion, I agree. Yeah, I don't think he had any room to mess up. No, um, no belt to school, in trouble, accidents and diapers. All of his underwear gets tossed, snacks, trouble. Yeah, I mean, and it's like you're not in trouble. And she'd say it would make more sense if we had been fighting. So that statement right there is always been, like an alarm. Even though I've heard it a million times, it still stands out to me like, what do you mean even, that you guys were fighting? Because I don't know. Teenagers are tough though, and they are argumentative and I get that. So I'm not trying to say that, but it's just weird that I mean, she says that everything was okay. He wasn't misbehaving. He was behaving, he's not in trouble. And then, it would make more sense if we had been fighting as if it's a normal occurrence, in my opinion. It just kind of and these are the things that Katie has said. Little Miss Sharon, Little Miss Sharon says KP always reminds me of the female Terminator when she looks around. I just heard the Terminator music in my head when you said that. That is great. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Detroit Rock City says all kids have a routine. Yeah, everybody has a routine, like especially like the Sunday night routine, right? Especially like if you got to get up for work early and then you have kids and then they have their own stuff too. Yeah, I agree. Did you wash your face, brush your teeth, pick out your clothes? Yeah. Did you finish your homework? Do you have your backpack, books, supplies ready? Yeah. Are there any permission slips I need to sign? Right. Or is there anything you know, some kids will probably hide, you know, maybe if they had to have a slip signed, you know, for school, like wait until Sunday, you know, Sunday night. So yeah, I agree. It's so strange to me, in my opinion, says Detroit Rock City. Yeah, I mean it is. It is odd. And they say, like, even with Katie, I did a short about it. And, you know, Duchess is like, does he have a lot of energy? Does he like to, you know, go on walks? And Katie says, especially without his medicine. And she says it all like, oh, especially without his medicine, you know, like that. And it's like, but I thought you were with him all weekend and the week before. And so he would have been taking his medicine the whole time. Right? And then Sunday he would have taken it in the morning and then he would have taken it at night. So he wasn't off of his medicine. She goes, especially off of his medicine, you know? So Carla says, what was he playing with in his room before bed if his phone was on the table and his Switch? Well, I don't know what he was doing, and that's the thing. That's what Star was saying, you know, that there's nothing, we don't know what he was doing between the time he got home and the, you know, time he went to sleep. And that's a whole bunch of time, you know, that he missed out on. And then also that, you know, from 9 o'clock until um 6 a.m. So, I mean, and you know, I don't know what he was playing with, but I know that Katie, whenever she said he, you know, she didn't like to go in his room. She didn't know what, you know, she was going to be walking into or what he'd be doing. And he's 15 and snacks and all her crap. Um, so, oh, SI officer says, let's not forget a day prior or so, someone supposedly was running through the backyards, in my opinion. That's to set this excuse me, that's to set the stage of a stranger around the neighborhood, whoever checking camera placement. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, thank you, SI officer, for that reminder too, because yeah, I do remember that was being alleged that someone was um, you know, running through the backyards and things like that. And you know, I mean, I think it does speak to camera placement. They had to have known where they were, and that's why I kind of, you know, that's why I'm like teeter-totter back on, you know, how much of this was planned. Um, it was poorly executed, in my opinion. Although it's they have the law enforcement on their side, unfortunately. I mean, I don't think he did either, Faye. Faye says police found no scent of Sebastian, so he didn't throw the trash out. I agree with that. I do. Katie says, you know, oh yeah, they got him on camera. He was running back like Naruto, and but you're right, Faye. The dogs did not go from, you know, the back door to the driveway or anything like that to pick up Sebastian's scent, unfortunately. KJ Max says she panicked and made the phone call to CP, in my opinion, and he left the phone behind. She had to look out the window to monitor the arrival, all lights off, just in time for the arrival, so it was dark. Yeah, I agree with that too, KJ Mac. That way, when the police looked back at the records, they would see that they were on the phone, that they were on the phone call. To fit the narrative of a possible stranger lurking for an abduction, in my opinion. Yeah, and they never really do mention that, you know. I mean, they just they kind of skated over the fact that he may have been abducted. But see, whenever they went to the house, they could see that nothing was tampered with. And if Katie was telling them, "Hey, Sebastian has the code," and he would have walked out the front door, she was kind of buying herself some time, I suppose, in order for, them to still do some investigating. But upon further investigation, they would have realized that none of the windows were unlocked, excuse me, or open. Nothing was tampered with, right, on the exterior or interior of the home. So, I mean, those things take a little bit of time to evaluate, so to speak. And then also getting the ring camera footage from the neighborhood, I think, took a little bit of time. So it did buy Katie some time to the, "Oh, I don't know how he walked out the door. I don't know. I don't know why. We weren't even fighting," but, all of this. So, and I do think that the police had unconscious, I always say that wrong, bias, right? They walk in and they see that, they're dealing with, oh, let me get the air conditioner. Okay, sorry about that, guys. It was beeping. Um, we're so on to them, Deborah. But yeah, I mean, it's very apparent. But now, my biggest question would be, what happened next? Like, where did they bring Sebastian? There's a lot of properties out there that they had access to. Um, a whole lot of them, a whole lot of them. Oh, what did Faye say? Did I miss something? Oh, also her call uh would close was close to the when the police hung up, so CP could have to call her again, allegedly. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, yeah. Also, her call would close too when the police hung up, so CP could have called her again, allegedly. Well, she also says too that she was told by Chris to go back to the house, right? But if she was on the three-way call, she would have heard that whole conversation and heard the police say, "Okay, we're en route," or we're heading to the house, whatever. So essay officer says, makes you wonder what chemical compound was used and for what, in my opinion, knowing TB's record and for what. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. 100%. And their track record is very ugly, especially if you cross Chris. Coffee Crime and Cat says, "Isn't that when she says he likes to hide behind walls and jump and scare her?" She says that, and good to see you, Coffee Crime and Cats, on Chronicles of Olivia. She says that because he likes to dip behind walls and scare me. And see, I think that she changed that story around because JLR busted her out and was like, "Well, Katie has to walk past her kitchen in order to wake Sebastian up." And so she would have saw him in the kitchen if she walked past, because it's a, open concept kitchen where there's like an island and you could see everything when you walk past. And so he busted her story out, and I think that's why she said that Sebastian likes to dip behind the walls. But I've also thought about another reason why, if that is true, or if there is some semblance of truth to that, that maybe Sebastian was dipping behind the walls because he was trying to listen. Because, I mean, obviously they were talking about putting him in a school and sending him away at a certain point. And so maybe he was dipping behind the walls to listen and eavesdrop on their conversations, especially if it was about them. Okay, Magic Star, thank you for that. She says, yes, Lady Freedom, I don't recall them costing anything at the Applebee's. Good, because I was like, I don't remember paying for anything, like getting an extra bill or anything like that. So thank you, because I was like, I don't think they cost anything. I think it's like a complimentary thing that you do at the table, um, to have fun because they can't do board games. I mean, it's like a little virtual game that you play. Um, yes, and you can see his frustration that he is the one who is going to make it crystal clear. Yes, 100%. 100%. Oh, the crystal clear. That is a trigger. That's a trigger warning. No creep factor like the certain someone else. I get it. Faye says Sebastian didn't run away. He faced his abuser and found a way to kick him out of the house. In my opinion, Chris snapped because of that and gives him a motive allegedly. Oh, I get what you're saying, Faye. I think that's a very strong possibility. I really do. Um, I really do. Deborah says female Terminator. Female Terminator. I seriously heard the music in my head with a Sarah Connor. Oh Lord. John Connor. All right. So Tina says, why does Chris think Sunday night isn't a school night? That's crazy to me. I know, and that was hilarious. I thought it was cool that Katie stuck up for herself on that one. You know? So uh I know I need to go to the Texas Roadhouse here. I've never gone to it. It's not far from me. It's not far at all. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and just play this next little piece. I don't think there's not a whole lot longer of this.
Point with law enforcement, that is something I would.
Or he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point with law enforcement. That is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided. So cooperation is there. I mean,
What do you want to say to our viewers? Anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
Help spread the word and keep searching, and thank you. And just if you think you see him, call him in.
thank all the viewers, everybody that's helped from across the board. I mean, everybody has been tremendous.
Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll look, even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name. Tell him to stay put.
He could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes. Like, the search is never over until he comes home. That is for sure.
So smart.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's, like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying, hoping, and searching for Sebastian's safe return for that day. Thank you both for talking with me.
Now, Katie did tell me that even though Sebastian does have autism, he is a smart teenager. He is highly functional. They say if you see him, say his name, say Sebastian, and he'll respond. He'll at least acknowledge you. And I can tell you, this is my home. This is my community. And the people here are strong. They say they will continue to search. They will continue to hope and continue to pray for Sebastian's safe return. And by the way, you can watch my full exclusive interview with Sebastian's parents on our WSMV4 app. Live here in Hendersonville, Holly Thompson, WSMV.
It's a roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless.
Okay, guys, so I wanted to read Social Butterfly's comment. Good to see you, Social Butterfly. She says, I spoke to Brandon Carter. He wanted to know if there's other footage available in the neighborhood. I told him he needs to re-knock on the doors or re-go over evidence and that I can't help knowing nothing. Well, I know, and that's what I'm glad that you were able to speak with them with him, and also thank you for letting us know and sharing that information. You know, it was said that there was a Facebook group where that was being tracked, or someone within the group was tracking that information on, you know, who gave camera footage and who didn't. I mean, I would like to think that they were keeping track of that with law enforcement. That does seem like that's their job, in my opinion. I don't know why they did that, Magic Star. I don't know why they did that. You know, um, I think it was to control and make him feel like he had no privacy, and in my opinion, that's awful for a teenager. Social Butterfly says, so true, lady. The hiding, she was so busted, never, yeah, never says that now, or hiding from abuse too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she was very busted, and everyone was like, oh yeah, with the layout of their house. There's no way that she didn't see, you know, if Sebastian was in the kitchen, she would have seen him, and that this would never, you know, we'd never hear about it. You know, and Magic Star says, CC, they couldn't install a doorknob with no lock. Weird still. Sebastian probably would have very good reasons to lock Chris out, in my opinion. I agree with that too. KJ Max says Sebastian would have developed hypervigilance in that household, in my opinion. I agree. Yeah, and I was thinking that too. You know, just kind of putting ourselves in Sebastian's position, and then some of the horrible things that we were hearing that they were doing as control tactics as well. And we see that Katie was very stern with Sebastian, so I know it wasn't just only Chris, right? Um, it was both of them, in my opinion. Magic Star says, and they wanted Seth to take Sebastian because they couldn't handle him anymore, right? Yeah, I mean that was really what it came down to. You know, like they were saying that they were gonna bring him to the school, or excuse me, send him to the school because he was misbehaving and because he was having issues, and you know, Seth was trying to get him into school, you know, in Clarksville, had him on the waiting list, and then in the meantime they were discussing the schools, but Seth was like, you know, I don't want him going you know, to these schools, because when he was doing the research it wasn't looking good, right? There was abuse at the schools, children being um you know, their lives taken. So, you know, yeah, that was to the best of my knowledge, you know, Chris and Katie didn't want Sebastian around anymore, you know, and that's the ultimatum. It's just like Brittany Gosney, you know, her boyfriend Russell told her, I don't want your kids around. You know, the same thing with Katie Proudfoot. I think that Chris didn't want Sebastian around, and you could see the disdain for Sebastian, it's like a hatred, Faye says that we know that there is an open CPS. They don't give it to Seth. They removed CP from the home at the end of January. He was 1 month out. In my opinion, that would make a narcissist snap. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm thinking, it had to have been around the third or fourth one, right, Faye, where they started getting to thinking like we can't take it anymore type of a thing. I think that is an absolutely strong motive for what had happened here. Yeah, sometimes he don't talk. Yeah, it's like, he does talk though, you know. Hey Sasha, good to see you. I fully believe that Sebastian was demonstrating trauma responses due to how he was being treated in the house. I agree with that, Star. The incontinence, rebelling against constant punishments. Yes, wanting and needing a social life. Yeah, big time. They weren't willing to facilitate it. Yeah, and obviously it's hard to make friends, especially when you move to a new place, like, even no matter how old you are, but as you get older it's harder to make friends, and so it, it, I just think he absolutely wanted that social life. He needed it. He did want and need it. And you know, Chris and Katie were saying that on Duchess, the first one, the first interview, saying he wants friends. That's what she says. He wants friends. But then she said the friends that he has at school were asked about if they knew anything, and then Chris said his idea of friends are somebody he talks to at school. Well, that's my idea of friends too. If I was to talk to somebody at school all the time, then I would think of them as a friend, right? But how many of Sebastian's friends would have, been able to come over and hang out at Chris and Katie's house? And in my opinion, if Katie was, tying one on right when she got off of work, she might not have wanted to go pick Sebastian up or drop him off anywhere. And she probably said, go and hang out in your room. Poor Sebastian. Little Miss Sharon says, well, there were several sightings of Sebastian, but KP and CP never mentioned one. Right. I agree. I agree. Yeah, and she also was saying how many things she was doing on the couch that night too. When she was just sitting on the couch that night, she was studying and talking to Chris, and the whole package. She bouncing a ball. I don't know. She was doing all kinds of stuff that night. But again, we lose this time where we don't know what Sebastian's doing either. Yeah, KJ Mac, I agree. You and I are on the same page. She says the star and the neck bruising placement bothers me as well. It's disturbing. No, Sasha, this is them their interview with Holly Thompson. Hey, forget me not. Good to see you. Oh, I would love to see the whole entire footage from start to finish. Detroit Rock City says, I would love to see more of the Texas Roadhouse footage. There has to be more. Yes, different angles too. I agree, Detroit. And the bowling alley and BJ's, the receipts for what she bought that weekend. They also went to Costco that weekend. What did she buy? I know. I would love to know all of those. Those are all great questions. And no, we don't have any receipts. And that's the thing here. No, receipts or it didn't happen kind of a thing, right? You know, so that's a really important aspect of things that we never really got. And when they're telling the truth, it'd be easy. That's why I want to make sure I go to the Texas Roadhouse just to kind of get the different the lay of the land, so to speak, but maybe even, film to see where the cameras are, um, just what the experience is like walking into the Texas Roadhouse, that sort of thing. So, and I'll also maybe try to play a game or see, what kind of little game systems they have there. It'd just be interesting. Yeah, Magic Star says all of the things to KJ. Um, we keep being told we're crazy for seeing in the interviews and pictures like the marks on CP's arms. They were supposed to believe they were from the Morkies. Yeah, he said that they were from the Morkies, and there's no way because they have sharp little teeth. I mean, that's why they're called canines. The teeth are canine teeth, not human teeth, and you could definitely see the scratch marks in this interview. Magic Star, I mean, absolutely can see them. I don't know how law enforcement missed them or at least didn't photograph them. It's so bizarre. YouTuber is here says, in my opinion, one reason that the Proud Feets isolated Sebastian from social outlets was to limit the possibility of him exposing their abuse of him, common child abuse tactic. I agree with that 100%. And they definitely didn't want that out. SI officer says, in my opinion, they just did not want him anymore. It was not that he was a problem child. I agree with that 100%. It was never expected in that house. He was never shown love, only humiliation. And I agree that Sebastian was not the problem. They were. They are. And another thing is too is if you know Chris wasn't coming home on the weekends that Sebastian was at Seth's house, then that speaks volumes to where their relationship was at that point, in my opinion. Social Butterfly says the wording they both use I find interesting. An example would be we excuse me, we would have seen, right, or we would have heard. We seen what he went to bed in, and that's the statement, CP, right? Like we'd have seen it, we'd have heard it, right? I get exactly what you're saying, Social Butterfly. Yeah, well said. And he accidentally says everybody would have woke up, right? Everybody would have heard it, and he tells on himself. I think that's a huge red flag of abuse, Faye. The absence of the doorknob shows abuse at the house, in my opinion. Yeah, my opinion too. I agree. You know, Cece says there has to be more Texas Roadhouse videos because there's cameras everywhere there. Yeah, and I saw your comments earlier, Cece. Um, I agree. Different camera angles, cameras everywhere. You know, um, yeah, she didn't look like she wanted to be at the reptile show. I agree with that too, Detroit. You know, SA officer says in their anniversary is Valentine's Day. So he was probably wanting to spend time with KP. They argued she gave him an ultimatum. Oh, that's interesting too. I didn't even think about the Valentine's Day connection, SI officer. Thank you. Oh, and just straight up humiliation, social butterfly. You know? KJ Max says, imagine why you would remove a doorknob when all you need to remove the lock mechanism. I imagine Sebastian may have held the doorknob to keep someone from entering. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Faye and yeah, Social Butterfly, he was so well behaved, so well behaved. Moved off the couch. Okay, I knew you were talking about the couch, little Miss Sharon. I was like, I know that you're talking about that time where she was like on the couch, right? Yeah, she's talking to Chris, she's studying, she's doing this, she's all doing that, falling asleep. But yeah, she moves off the couch and she says, She tells Duchess it was someone around midnight, and then, Crystal Clear Chris comes in, to save the day or not save the day. Um, Social Butterfly says to me the 9 to 43 to 9:46 phone call, I believe, is where it all started. I think that is a really strong theory that a lot of people have, that something happened during that time frame. Everything started in that time frame. Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot. Sasha says, I agree, these people felt inferior. Well, and they're very well connected, but not for their own merits or who they are as people. Hey, Loretto. It's more so because of the Bauer Sox connection, right? And then, they've all kind of lived in that area and grew up in that area. So that's got huge connections as well. So it's hard to, overlook that. When we talk about or think about um, the reason that they have really never been fully investigated, in my opinion. And I really am leaning strongly towards they might have lawyered up quicker than we thought, and maybe even quite immediately after reporting Sebastian missing, because the police were asking questions and they did want to know. And if Katie's not telling her story, um, and good at telling her story to us, we're not law enforcement. Imagine how she felt if if she does in fact have guilty knowledge when the police were nosing around and asking her questions directly. There's no way that she was able to hold her own, not with what we've seen, not with the Katie that we've witnessed time and time again. She's not a good liar. Lolly was in here earlier. Katie's not a good liar at all. Neither is Chris. They think they're good. You know, yeah. SA officer says put the dogs up. Yeah, but that only means when they're there, right? And that's the thing too. He admitted that. Oh, the dogs sleep with Katie when I'm not around. She lets them sleep there. I make them go in the pen. That's what he said. Faye says, I wish I could see Katie's kind of dash cam. Well, I would love to see that as well. I mean, that would help tremendously. I wish she would show it to Seth. That way he could at least let us know that he's, witnessed it. But they like to withhold that information and say they can't share it. Social Butterfly says 9:43 to 9:46. Then the 10 p.m. thud. Right, thump, bang. Did you fall out of the bed? Right. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they should have taken photos. They should have taken bloody photos. I agree. I agree. Oh my goodness. Oh, Lil Red, make sure you drop your channel link. You're doing a live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Awesome, awesome. I don't know what time I'm doing my daytime live, but I am gonna have to hop off of here soon because I know I've been on here for 3 hours. But I like getting into this conversation with you guys, and you all have um, great things to say in the chat about this topic. But I do want to work on a comparison video and maybe even some well, not even maybe even I'm definitely going to be working on some micro expressions that were coming out in this interview, and I think we'll kind of hover around these two first interviews, uh, especially like I said earlier, because they're only a day apart, and it's a good indication of what they were saying and thinking back then, and doing, and what was happening at that time as well. KJ Maxx says the dogs needed to be in the cage for when she left the house in the dark, in my opinion. Yeah, well, and she couldn't have them making a ruckus. So that's a good point. That's a really good point. You know? Yeah, who tells their wife to go to bed? She's a grown ass woman. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, but he's like, put the dogs up and go to bed. That's what he tells her. I told her to put the dogs up and go to bed. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Settle down there, Spanky. Faye, in my opinion, In that time frame, they were cleaning evidence. Police said the house had a smell of chlorine. Oh, really? I didn't know that they said it smelled like bleach in there. Wow. And too clean is evidence too. Bo says, sorry, I'm quiet. I'm super tired just listening. Thank you for being here, Bo. I'm glad you're here. I'm always glad I'm always like happy for the people in the bushes too, because a lot of times I'm in the bushes too. If I can't chat or if I'm just listening, or if I'm working on something else, but I'm chatting, or excuse me, not chatting, listening, but not chatting. So, Social Butterfly says Nina said it in the interview about cameras and how CP liked to have them in the home. KP, your friend, would know she was there at your house. So speak up, friend of KP. I'm so surprised Lori has never said anything. You know, I'm really surprised. It's crazy. It's crazy. Sasha says, it seems like Craddock destroyed his case and left Carter holding the bag, and now Chris is making fun of Carter. Well, I'm sure that he feels, the duper's delight. I mean, and it's awful, you know. I never heard of the bleach. I never heard of that. Interesting, you guys. Thank you for that because I've never heard that before. Um, and if there's things that I'm missing, feel free to share them or, while we're working on these two interviews, if there's something that you guys want me to add into a video or something like that, let me know because I know there were a lot of conversations on Facebook happening at this time period, right? Like the first 7 days, Chris and Katie were on Facebook in a major way, involved in the groups, involved in the neighborhood stuff. And so, if you have any receipts or anything you'd like me to help or like to help out with or have me share, please send it to me. Because I'd kind of like to stay in this beginning time frame for a little bit and dissect and analyze it. So I think it's important, especially when I hear something like that, like, oh, I didn't know that the police had said that the house, smelled like it was, had been cleaned up. Um, so that's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, I know Ellie well, I know the cleaning crew, but I know Ellie knew the house had been cleaned, but yeah, it's amazing to me the things that they left behind, the missed opportunities, in my opinion. Um, Faye says, so when the police finds inconsistencies in suspect statements, what's their next move? Yeah, and I think it's to bring them down to the station, Faye, and I don't understand why they haven't done that, in a proper way, in a way that we would all expect to be taken down. And, we would want that in order for us to be cleared. And, it seems like they've always just been very defensive and called it a tax when in reality it was exactly what they were supposed to be doing, right? It is investigating, not playing it friendly or saying, oh, they have a nice house, so there's no way, oh, they were in the Navy, so there's no way. No, people are people. Good night, SI officer. Thanks so much for being here. You know, well, yeah, it's hard to pay attention. And sometimes I'm in the bushes taking notes too, depending on whose live it is and stuff like that. Um, and absolutely Detroit Rock City. And I've shared it to Mandy over at Spirit Seeker Squad. I just love her. Has great pictures matching the bite marks to Sebastian's teeth. We should check them out again. She did a great job, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. We'll bring those in, Detroit. We will. Because that was another thing I wanted to kind of zoom in on and see if I couldn't brighten them up myself and then, do like a comparison with Mandy's too. Um it's important for us to do that, especially when somebody has such a good eye and attention to detail like Mandy. Because you can absolutely see them, but you really have to be looking. Right? You really have to be paying attention to everything. And I think that's really important. And I think that's why it's really important for us to do this again, even though it's repetitive. But we might find little things that we didn't find before. So, oh, I'm always praying for them, Sasha. I am. I am. Yeah. Like I said, I don't hold any hatred towards anybody in this case. I just want Sebastian to be found. I really do. I just want him to be found. I want them to hold accountable whoever hurt this kid. But I don't like what I see up here, I mean, I'm pointing it out. Sumner County Sheriff's Office took a big black "Have you seen me" logo and slapped it right over Sebastian's bruising. And they took that from the TBI and did that and put their logo on it. And I mean, to me, that is, if that's not sweeping something under the rug, I don't know what is. That's just a prime example. And Social Butterfly says day 8, 2 names pop into chat, a David Bryant and a Julio Joka. Hoka. I know. I don't. Yes, we all know Julio. Now Bryant's name I thought is related to Kathy, but the other guy is not sure. Can't find him. Yeah, I remember that David Bryant. That was the one. Um, David Bryant. I just remember Dutch going, David Bryant, thank you so much for your super $50. You're gonna find him. All right. And then Julio was like, oh, Chris was amazing. And then or excuse me, and then Chris was like, oh yeah, Julio is amazing. Like, what men call each other amazing? Gross. Dawn Emery, good to see you. Thank you for being here. You're smoking deer necks for my son-in-law, and it's taken forever. You have to help me stay awake to try. I know. I'm so sorry. I know the day shows. I've been kind of like cutting it short at night. Just, I mean, like, if I can stay later, I will. Um, I've never smoked a deer neck before. That's interesting. I love how you're always cooking Detroit. I think they know everything, but they need him because they miss getting the forensics. Yeah, I have a sinking suspicion about that. You know, I know, Little Red, you're awesome with the pictures. You are awesome. No news on, not anything great to share on Devlin. No, he's still missing. And there's a little bit of new developments, but I really want to make sure um that I double check everything. I dislike these two very much too, Cece. You know, Detroit says, look at all of the little things we see every time we go back over all of this again. Yes, every little detail is important, in my opinion. Yeah. And I mean, you guys help me see so much. Like, you guys were saying awesome comments in the chat and everything. Yeah, he said that he worked with CP in San Diego. You know, I hope Seth can file a lawsuit. I hope he can get justice. In my opinion, Seth could do a live recruiting all of Sebastian's army, all of the creators, bring their funds together and gather everything together, and after send it to the head of the FBI and the US Marshals. I think that would be a great idea. I still want to work on a collaboration and have a panel. And I have not forgot about it. I just I know that with Pigfest and everything coming up, I need to focus on planning for that. Um, but I have not forgot about it. And I also just want to make sure I can bring you guys, some accurate information, just kind of, you know, filming things in the area, I think will help put things into perspective. So, um, oh, did you send it to the email, Bo, or is it on your channel? Yeah, Cece says, "Well, I heard CP say they won't bring him back, then switch to they will. I have never caught that as many times as I've seen the atrocious interview." Right, right. Well, and her rocking back and forth is very distracting in my opinion. I have not ever caught that either. That was not gonna be one of the things that I was gonna point out when we break it, when I break it down in the other video and we watch it. Um, yeah. Yeah, that was strange how he said, they won't and then they will. And kudos to Kai J Campsite, because that was really, really good. Really, really good catch. And that's the thing, especially what we know now is so much different than what we knew back then. The one that took Sebastian's innocence is a family friend. Who was it? It was someone in California. I think that he does need to get statements from the school about what happened. Yeah, yeah. I think that they need to clear Seth too, John Emery. I don't know why they haven't. We will, Faye. Faye says Sebastian's army must stay united for having a stronger voice, in my opinion. Justice for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Yes. Yes, I agree. I agree, Faye. Very well said. Very well said. And I think we just all need to compare notes. That's the biggest thing. Foot has adjusted his language to try and appear less suspicious with which is more suspicious. Exactly, KJ Mac. I agree. Yeah, somewhere from in California. Yeah. That's a good catch too. Social Butterfly says KP rocking and then CP tried rocking in tandem. I saw that too. Yeah. Oh, cool. Detroit says yes, he had a deer last week and then processed it last weekend, and he's taking them to work, and I have to make sure it gets up to temperature, and it's freezing cold tonight. I think that's why. Yeah. Oh, is it really, really cold? The temperature's gotten down here too, but not terribly. Of course, Florida's not too bad, but it gets pretty chilly in the winter. Um Cece says my mom antennas went up several times. The first time I watched it, I guess maybe having 5 kids of my own turned on that radar. Yeah, absolutely. I think the mom radar is a big one, and one to listen to as well, because you just get that, you know. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I see it. Your profile. Oh, yeah. Very cool, Bo. I'm sorry, I thought you sent me something in the email, and she says, "Not Bambi Detroit." Town Chat says, "Lady, wasn't it allegedly said that the boy from California is KP's friend, Lori's son? The friend that was in the driveway the day Sebastian, the one that, no, no, that's, um." He wasn't the one that hurt Sebastian. You guys are in the 60s tonight, Little Red? No, no, that one. And I do call it Spidey senses too, KJ Mac. CC, I had the same experience. The first time I saw it, my Spidey senses were tingling. Yeah, and I thought this was the first interview too, guys. I always say that because I'm like, disclaimer, I thought this was the first video, but it wasn't. Or excuse me, the first interview, but it wasn't. Um, yeah, Sebastian's army. That is very cool, Bo. That is really awesome. Well, I love you guys all so very much. Thank you all so much for being here. Oh yes, that's who it was. Magic Star says I thought it was a babysitter. She got off a Craigslist. Yeah, I heard that it was someone that they had close access to, but it wasn't. Lori lives in Chicago, like, or excuse me, Illinois. somewhere around Illinois. Um, so, but no, that was not Lori. No, 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 no. That is, it was not Lori's son. It was someone they knew in California, you know. Um, so well, guys, I will see you tomorrow. I think I might be on around like noon. I'm gonna shoot for noon, so hopefully we can do that. Thank you so much for being here, Little Miss Sharon, and everyone for being here and going over these interviews. With we're combing over the interviews, as Katie said, they combed over everything. Well, we're combing over the interviews again. And thank you, Magic Star. Thank you guys so much. You guys are so awesome. And we're definitely going to keep diving into this and you know, trying to kind of figure out what we might have missed. I mean, there's just so much you know, involved here. So, thank you, Social Butterfly. You guys are so amazing. Thank you to Sebastian's Army. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Little Redo and KJ Mac. Everybody, every single person that is here tonight and that was participating. Um, Sebastian has so many people that love him so much, and it's amazing to me the outpouring of support still. That he has, and I think it's just people really see the need for it. Um, they just do. Detroit, thank you so much. I'm so glad you were here. Um, you know, and see, and that's the thing that they weren't expecting, and you know, I don't see us you know, dying down anytime soon. Oh, yes, absolutely. No worries, Cece. Yeah, I saw Brenda after that, so no worries. Oh, girl, I did that a couple times and I felt so bad. And it was like, you know, I not only had to reinstate people, but I had to give their wrenches back too. And I was like, I not only did I delete you, but I deleted the wrench now too. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Aw, thanks, little Miss Sharon. Yeah, guys, you guys are so awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you all so much, Social Butterfly. That's cute. Aw. All right, you guys. I will see you all tomorrow and we'll get more into this. Probably the day show is probably just going to be some updates and, you know, some things like that while I work on this other video. So, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.